Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question about a rankings drop or a traffic loss after getting rid of either a vanity URL or a secondary web address or URL. So when I say URL, I mean a web address. But first, let's define what we're talking about. So first, a vanity URL would be things like a custom link shortened domain name. That could be something that is like a bit.ly link or something like that, where you use a link shortener to shorten links. Maybe put your brand name in there somehow cleverly. That is a vanity URL, usually what most people mean when they're talking about a vanity URL. Now, the other thing that we're talking about is a secondary domain name. Let's say, for example, that your company is abccompany.com, but let's say that at one point your company domain name was something else, like defcompany.com, and you kept that domain name, you forward it to the new domain name, abccompany.com, but let's say for whatever reason you let that domain expire and now it's gone. So in both of these cases, either with a secondary domain or a third domain that forwards to your main domain, or a vanity URL, which is a link shortened web address where you track it using analytics, using something like bit.ly.com, something like that. In either one of those cases, if you lose that domain or you let that domain expire and it falls into somebody else's hands, more than likely any links that were built back to your website have also expired, and are now broken links. So the thing to remember, hyperlinks from other websites to your website are like voting power for your website. And even more so when those links are coming from high authority sites that are within your specific industry category. So things that have the same topical relevance, websites that have the same topical relevance, the same topic, the same category as yours, when they link to your website, that is like a link voting power toward your site, saying that your site should rank higher. Now, obviously, if you have domains that you had in the past and they forward to yours and now you're just dropping them, any links that were built to that old domain, and you might have links that are years old, like 5, 6, 10 years old, that were pointing to that old domain that were forwarding to your current domain name. And when you let that domain name expire, all those links go away too, in most cases. So that's just something to be aware of. In the case of link shortened vanity URLs, something like a bit.ly.com, those links are usually no followed, but they're usually shared on things like social platforms. They might have been shared on another website. Somebody else might have, embedded a tweet or embedded a Facebook post. And those links might have been on their site, even though they're no followed and they don't pass link voting power, link equity, page rank, whatever you want to call it. They're still relevant because they're showing that that site thought enough of your link, whether it was just a plain vanity URL or if it was in a social post and they embedded it on their site. It's still showing that they thought enough of you and what you had to say to link back to your site. So letting those vanity URLs expire, because some of those URLs actually use clever top-level domain tricks to get the brand name in there. For example, like .com, .net, .org, those can be used by pretty much anybody, but there are certain domain name extensions like .us is supposed to be for the US. But there's other ones like .co UK that are supposed to be for, you know, the United Kingdom, .au for Australia, .fr for France, and so on and so on. But a lot of these clever link shortened domain names are actually using smaller countries, like some more obscure countries. They're using their domain name, country level domain name extension to make these clever little branding things. So if you let those things expire, the hyperlinks basically end up expiring too in most cases. And that's a phenomenon that we call link rot, which basically means that the theory of link rot basically is like all hyperlinks on a long enough timeline are going to expire, either because the domain name changes hands, or people redesign the site, or the content gets changed, or somebody else that built that link with the old domain name, they let it expire. You know, all these things end up with broken links, so that's link rot that ends up happening. Pages, very few pages stand the test of time, 20, 25 years. So just things to keep in mind. Don't let your domain names expire. If you have a surplus of them, if you have ever built links to them, or if somebody else has ever built links to them, or if anybody's built links using them as a vanity URL, please do not let them expire. Now, if nobody has ever built a link to that domain name, and it's just an extra domain name, and you don't mind if anybody else has it, then you can let it expire. But otherwise, do find out there are SEO tools out there that they can basically look up any backlinks that your domain name has to it. You can also register that domain name in Google Search Console. It will tell you if you have incoming links most of the time to that domain name. So that's a good way to know whether you should let it expire or let it pass into the public pool of people who can buy domain names. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and I'm here every single day answering questions on SEO, giving SEO tips, 365 days a year. And that is all I have for now. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have come on recently. I really appreciate it. And that's it for now. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.